ho! Merry Christmas!
Chucky here, Chucky the Santa Clown. Wait a second, that's not scary. Chucky here, Chucky the Killer Claus. I'm the Red Menace who sneaks down your chimney, stuffs things in your socks, eats your cookies and drinks your milk. I throw boxes all over your living room, and I make out with your mother. No, wait, scratch that last part. Chucky has standards. When I'm not scaring people at Halloween Haunt, sometimes I like to dabble in Christmas lights. I like subdued, tasteful displays, like the one I set up here, where I did my Halloween maze. What do you think? Follow me. I know it isn't much, but I used to have a lot more deer, like 12 or 13 more. But then I got hungry several times. Deer are very tasty. I know it sounds absurd, but I've got a squirrel in the backyard that's been eating my Christmas light bulbs. The squirrel actually ate the light bulbs. I don't know why. He's probably a crazy squirrel. And speaking of the backyard, let's start there. So follow me. First of all, this is the bear tree. We call it the bear tree because when the wind blows, it looks like a really big bear who's really mad because somebody wrapped 1,800 Christmas lights around him and they're very hot. Over here we have the red tree, which I called the red tree because I put red lights in it. And over here I have the Starlight Woods, which don't look much like starlight, and it doesn't look much like woods. It looked better before the squirrel ate all the lights. And over there is the orange tree, because it has oranges. No, it doesn't have oranges, it's got orange light bulbs. I don't own this tree. I used to have a lot of trees in my yard, but I killed them all by putting too many Christmas lights in them. So now I just borrow my neighbor's trees and kill them with Christmas lights. This over here is a rose bush, so I put red lights in it. See, that didn't look like a rose. And then because that's red, this had to be blue. This is especially bright blue, so people driving down the street will be blinded by the blue light and crash. And this is a green, like, tree. By the way, this isn't a real tree. This is an artificial tree, because I kill all the real ones. I like to use lots of artificial trees. I got that one, and this one's artificial, and the blue one, and the green one with the red lights, and the other blue one that's white, and the blue one. I have a lot of blue trees. Nothing says sincere and tasteful like taking a bunch of dead fake things and sticking them in your yard. I also had the porch trees. They're fake too. When you first drive up to this house, you are greeted by this penguin on a snowboard next to two very tiny trees. This is my wishing well. Christmas is a time to make wishes come true. Also, I needed something to hold more Christmas lights because I didn't have enough. And also, I had a stream, and the stream would look pretty stupid if it just came out of the ground like spring, which I guess would actually make sense. But anyway, so I didn't even have to build a wishing well. It could have been a spring. You know how hard it was to build this wishing well? I didn't want to spend $99 at Amazon for a wishing well. So instead, I went and bought $80 worth of wood and $20 worth of paint. And then there was the hospital bill for when I drilled through my hand. And this is what I ended up with. And I could have just said it was a spring. Anyway, so I had to have a river Because otherwise, how would you explain how I had a pond in my front yard? There's a problem though, because now that I have a pond in my front yard, the EPA came by and said if I took down my Christmas lights, they're going to arrest me for disturbing wetlands. And of course, what pond would be like complete without a Christmas flamingo? Yes, I have a flamingo, but it's in the pond and it's Christmassy, so I don't think the HOA is going to come and like throw me in HOA prison. I also wanted to have ducks, but it turns out that roast duck is pretty tasty, so all I got left is the flamingo. I do love animals to eat and also to show. So I've got the flamingo, I've got a family of penguins, I got more penguins, I got Rudolph the Red-Nose Reindeer, and this is my favorite, the polar bear. I rescued the polar bear. He was being held captive by the World Wildlife Federation and forced to make videos where he was perched precariously on ice like that was going to tip over. So I brought him here and he seems very happy with the penguins. A polar bear, there used to be 5 penguins. What did you do? Did you eat the penguin? I also have an owl. Hoot, hoot. The owl doesn't actually speak. I also have a Pegasus. A Pegasus is a flying horse. I don't know what a flying horse has to do with Christmas. Christmas should be about real things, like flying reindeer pulling sleighs with bright red lights on their nose, and a fat man climbing down your chimney, and elves making substandard toys. Not make-believe stuff like flying horses. Anyway, I know I shouldn't be so hard on those elves. They work so hard on those toys. But you know, who do you think made the crappy toys that Santa Claus banished to the island of misfit toys? It was the elves. And they didn't get fired or anything. Just the guy that actually was good at dentistry. You can make substandard toys and be okay for Santa Claus, but you can't be a dentist. And of course, no Christmas display would be complete without a wreath, which is apparently a bunch of dead limbs you take off of a tree and make into a big circle for no reason that I can think of, other than if like you had a football, you could try to throw it through the hole. I don't know. But I got one and put it up here. I also put lights all over this house. I don't know who lives here. I climbed up on their roof. I stuck lights all over the place. They seem to be pretty upset because I did this at night when it was dark, and apparently I woke them up, and I thought it turned out okay. And then some of my clown buddies came and paid my bail and got me out of prison. In addition to the big artificial trees, I also have these little tiny twig artificial trees. Because you can't have too many fake things for Christmas. And here's another wreath. These bushes aren't real either. They're artificial bushes. And little tiny artificial trees. Everything you see in this yard is fake. Except me, I'm real. I'm Chucky the Killer Claus. Anyway, I hope you obtained wonderful presents for Christmas. I know Santa Claus was good to me because I hid under the table. And when he reached down to grab the cookies I left out for him, I bit off 2 of his fingers. And if you've seen Santa Claus, you know, those were light snacks. Also, I stole his suit while he was writhing on the ground in pain. Don't I look marvelous? Anyway, Chucky the Killer Claus saying Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Don't worry, Rudolph, I would never eat you. I'm doing selfies with an owl.